In these problems, we're doing something called evaluating algebraic expressions. When you evaluate something, you take numbers and you put them in where the letters are in your algebraic expression. So here we have this expression, negative u minus, and the u and the v are smashed up against each other. That means multiply, so negative u times v. And all you really have to do is put in 6 for u, because it's telling you u equals 6, and negative 2 for v. And then crunch out the numbers, calculate it. My recommendation would always be to use parentheses, just so you don't get confused about the negative signs. So I'm going to be thinking about putting in a parentheses 6 for u and a parentheses negative 2 for v wherever I see them in here. So let's try that, see how it goes. First, I have a negative sign. Can't ignore that, so I write my negative sign. Then u is parentheses 6, so we'll put that in there. Then I have another negative sign, and u again is parentheses 6, so that's that u. And then v is parentheses negative 2. So I've substituted in all the numbers there. Now all I have to do is take this and calculate it. Again, I'm going to do the multiplication before I do any addition or subtraction. So I have 6 times a negative 2, so this chunk is a negative 12. And let's write the rest of it. I still have this negative sign here, and then I have a negative 6. So this is negative 6 minus a negative 12. Well, minus a negative is the same thing as plus. So negative 6 plus 12, that should come out to be a positive 6. Let's try another one. This one's just slightly more complicated. We've got 3 numbers now. R is 3, P is negative 4, and Q is negative 6. And again, think of these with parentheses around them, and then just plug them in this expression. So we start with a negative sign, and then we have R, which is 3. Then we have parentheses, so I'll leave some space here in a big set of parentheses. Then we have P. P is negative 4, so we'll put in parentheses negative 4. And then we have a minus sign. And then we have Q, which is negative 6, so put in parentheses negative 6. So that's how our problem comes out here, and there's a little bit to sort out. Let's start with what's inside the parentheses. I have a negative 4 minus a negative 6. Well, minus a negative is just like plus. So negative 4 minus a negative 6 is 2. So everything inside that set of parentheses came out to be 2. And then we have a negative 3 multiplied by that. Well, 3 times 2 is 6, so negative 3 times 2, negative 6. All right, one more, slightly more complicated. So this time our expression has a negative r, parentheses, negative p plus q, and then a minus p times q. Let's just go ahead and start plugging things in. Parentheses here. Oh, and all of these are negative numbers, so we'll probably have a lot of complications with the signs. But we'll just take it one piece at a time. First of all, I have a negative sign. And then we'll put in r, which is negative 6. Then we have a bigger set of parentheses, so I'll leave some space there. And we have a negative sign, and then p is negative 5. Then we have a plus sign, and q is negative 9. And then we have a negative sign outside the parentheses, and a p, which is negative 5, times q, which is negative 9. All right, so that is big and complicated, but we can start chipping away at it piece by piece here. Let's start inside the parentheses. Go to the most inside you can get inside these parentheses, and that's where you should start. I've got a negative negative 5 plus a negative 9. Well, a negative negative 5 is just a positive 5, and plus a negative is just minus, so this is really 5 minus 9, and that is negative 4. So inside that big parentheses, we just have a negative 4. So let's go ahead and write the rest of this over again, and then our minus sign here, and negative 5 times negative 9. Now we want to do our multiplication, and then our subtraction. So here we have negative 5 times negative 9. Well, 5 times 9 is 45. 2 negative signs, that's a positive 45. So this bit becomes positive 45. We still have this negative sign out there. And then here we have a negative 6 times negative 4. You could think of this in two ways. You could say a negative 6 is a positive 6, or you could multiply the whole thing and see that I have 3 negative signs, so it's going to be a negative number. Either way, here's a positive 6 times a negative 4. That's negative 24. So we've got negative 24 minus 45, and I think that's going to be a negative 69. So that is a little bit of work with evaluating algebraic expressions.